Hi guys, I'm Sumir, and today we are going to be talking about meditation. When I was talking to a very dear friend of mine a few days ago, she kind of mentioned that meditation is not something that's very easy to do. So I have a very different take on this. We all know how to meditate. But the problem is that we're all meditating on the wrong things. What do we typically meditate on? We meditate on problems that we have. We meditate on things that, are disturbing us. We meditate on things like money, on relationships. When you do that, what's happening is you're occupying your mind, your talk, your association with stuff that is not necessarily conducive to you. But it's occupying your mind. You think about it throughout the day, you have sleepless nights, but that is meditation. But you're using your senses in a negative way. So all you actually need to do is turn that focus around and meditate on stuff that's conducive to you. How do you do that? So different people do meditation in different ways. So we've heard of different meditation techniques, and I'll talk about my favorite technique later. But people do things like mindfulness meditation. Some people will sit in a kind of a quiet place and close your eyes or narrow your eyes, look at the tip of your nose, try to focus. Some people kind of blank your mind and remove all thought from your mind. There's other people who can't sit still for a very long time, or you can't do the asana, the padmasana, and so people will walk around and kind of slowly and do meditation. There are others who do breath meditation, so that is inhaling and exhaling very very slowly and paying attention to the sound of your breath. So that's breath meditation. We also have something which is like japa. Mantra meditation is another kind of method that we use. All we need to do, as I said earlier, is to focus our mind on positive things, focus our energies on things that are positive to us. And I'll share with you the meditation that I do. I do mantra meditation. So I chant certain mantras which are very powerful. The advantage of mantra meditation is that you're occupying your senses. Shruti and smriti are the two ways of learning. Shruti is recitation and smriti is meditation. So when you're saying the mantra, you're using Shruti, Vani, Vak. So you are hearing the sound of your voice. So you're occupying your tongue, you're occupying your ears, which are hearing the mantra. At the same time, because the mantra is kind of done in a certain way, it has something known as a meter or a chand. For example, there's something known as the Gayatri mantra. The Gayatri mantra we all know to be Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha and so on. I'm going to tell you something that not many people probably know. There are many different types of Gayatri mantras. Gayatri is nothing but the meter or the chant, which is basically the pace at which the mantra is recited. When you recite that mantra at a certain gait, at a certain speed, with the right pronunciation, it automatically regulates your breath. So now what are you doing? You got Shruti, which is recitation. You got Smriti, which is meditation. So you're speaking, you're hearing, and you're regulating your breath. So it actually has a threefold power which not many people know. The mantras themselves are dedicated to certain gods, and they are very, very powerful. They are very profound meaning. They have a lot of benefits. So that's why I do something known as mantra meditation. I learned something about mantra meditation several years ago when I was visiting Vrindavan. I met a very great spiritualist, one of the Swamis who was based in Vrindavan. I had the great fortune where he gave me a lot of his personal time during my visit. And he'd written a book, and that book basically talked about the Gayatri Mantra, and it talked about all of these aspects that I'm talking to you about now. The main takeaway from that was that Gayatri is a chand, it's a meter. There's different types of Gayatri and so on and so forth. But there was something in that book that was very, very appealing to me. A lot of us go to temples to worship. A lot of us go to temples to have darshan of the murtis in the temple or the archa vigraha. What do we do typically? Typically, we just go there and we look at the beautiful ornaments and shringar, the jewelry, the flowers, and we look straight at the face of the deity. That's not normally how you would kind of go in and observe the deity. So you start from the feet. You go slowly up. What are the ankles? What are the toe rings? What are the clothes they are wearing? There's kumkum on the feet. So you look at the kumkum and you go slowly up the archa vigraha. Then you come to the face. Then you come to the crown. When you do that, you're actually observing each and everything about that deity, which is also a meditation. To give you a very crass and a very shallow example, when we go out to some function, we observe how other people are dressed. We observe what kind of makeup people are, what watches they are wearing, what jewelry they are wearing, what clothes they are wearing, what shoes they are wearing. So there's so many things that we observe. And when we go back home, talk about it. This person was wearing this, he was looking good, she was looking good, she was looking very pretty. Oh, that person had too much makeup, that person didn't have makeup. Oh, that shade of the lipstick was horrible. So, we've noticed all of these things, and that is also a form of meditation, which is not conducive, it's not productive, it's very shallow. When we meditate, so coming back to the meditation technique that I was given is to think about the deity from the time the deity has woken up till the time the deity has gone to sleep. Case in point, this is Mangal Arti. The comparison is now Krishna has woken up in the morning. All the Gwal Bals, all of the other cowherd boys have come to his house to wake him up. Now he's gotten up from his bed. He's in his slumber. He's in his night clothes. And when you go to the temple, you'll also see that the deities are not very heavily dressed. They're wearing their night clothes. You then kind of offer them food. There's a shower. It's only after that that the deities are dressed up. Then you give the deities breakfast. Look at how we treat a baby. The baby wakes up. The first thing you do is get the baby ready. When you get the baby ready, the baby becomes hungry. When the baby becomes hungry, you feed the baby. It's no different when you actually are worshipping a deity. You wake the deity up, you do abhishek, you then feed them, you offer them naivedya. So that's one slot of the meditation. So the day is divided into 8 praharas, 8 cycles. And at each time of the day, the deity is doing something else. So that is one form of meditation which is very, very powerful, and it makes it so much easier to meditate on the form of God, the pastimes of God. Krishna had fantastic pastimes. Lord Shiva had fantastic pastimes. There's so many stories that we know. Just start thinking about these things, and you'll automatically realize that your mind is drawn into very, very different realms. You're drawn into much positive aspects. You're not as worried as you were when you start doing the mantras, when you start doing this meditation, when you start praying. Because let's go back to what meditation should be, and what typically, when you say that I want to learn meditation, what are they trying to teach you, or what are you trying to learn? Meditation is calming the mind, becoming peaceful, not being worried by external stimulus. So that's what meditation wants to do. People prescribe different techniques of doing meditation, as I mentioned earlier, but my favorite form of meditation is mantra meditation. So it's Shruti and Smriti. There's different mantras that I do at different times of the day. It does not matter whether it's Krishna or Shiva. Follow a single path, single mindedness. And we've all heard of the 21-day rule, right? So you practice this for 21 days. On the 22nd day, it's become a habit. Most people will tell you that meditation should be done early in the morning. Yes, the early morning, Brahma Muhurat is a fantastic time to do your meditation. But it's not the only time. You can do it several times during the day. For example, I have got a certain prescribed number of rounds that I chant on my japa beats, and I have to finish that. And the whole process takes about an hour and a half or 2 hours. Sometimes in the morning I may not have that time, so I'll finish a certain bit now, certain bit during the day, and then a certain bit maybe before I go to sleep. No amount of meditation you do is enough. You can go on meditating. It'll only increase your sense of well-being, your sense of calm, your sense of purpose, your focus. It'll make you a lot more alert. Your mind will start getting very, very sharp. You'll be able to be less reactive. You'll be able to think things through. There's a common saying that we say, take 3 deep breaths before you react. So meditation is that, it's breathing. So you're taking a deep breath, you're stepping back from the equation, and then only reacting. And mantra and meditation will help you to achieve that objective. Not very difficult to do. Keep in mind, we focus on the wrong things most of the time, and the idea is to not focus on the wrong things and focus on things that are conducive to us. So that's my 2 bits on meditation. I just thought I'd kind of bring this to your attention and assure you that it's not difficult. Just take it up, read a little bit about it, or consult somebody who knows how to teach you how to meditate, and you'll find that your life is a lot more successful. It's a lot more calm. Now, I've often talked about the mind being your biggest enemy or your best friend, and it's all about training the mind. I mean, you can make your mind work for you. Meditation is a great way to train in your mind. Also look at the senses that we have. We have certain assets, right? We've got the assets of, sight, sound, taste, smell. It's how you utilize these assets is very important. And when you do meditation, you're utilizing these assets to what is conducive to you. So one of the meditative techniques is to blank your mind. But I've always found that very difficult to do because there's lots of distractions all around us. There's sounds, there's disturbances, there's the phone is going to ring. And therefore, keeping your mind blank is difficult to do. So what do? You replace that by other sounds, which is basically the mantras and the meditation that's going to help you to divert your attention from that which distracts you to something which is a lot more focused. When you first start going to a gym or you first start doing some kind of a sport, you don't start lifting the heavy weights on day one. So you take baby steps. You train yourself gradually to come to a stage where you can actually lift more weights, run faster, run a longer distance. You're not out of breath very quickly when you're doing, strenuous and extensive or elongated exercises. That's the process that you would follow even during meditation. You start off with small baby steps. You start for a shorter duration of time. As you start practicing your muscles, which is your mind becomes a lot more conducive for you to meditate for a longer period of time. I'd be more than happy if any of you is interested to be trained how to meditate. I'd be more than happy to engage with you on that. Just drop me a DM and we can take it from there. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned, and you will have the next episode on another interesting topic very soon.